There's one. Oh, that's a big bass. Big bass. Oh my gosh. Dude, that is insane. Tell you one thing, folks, I was not expecting to catch a big old largie today. Oh my god. Beast. What a beautiful fish. Golly. See you later, girl. Woo! What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. My name is Luke. This is LO Outdoors, and today, folks, we're not on the water. We're in my workshop, and I want to talk to you guys about something that means a lot to me, you, whoever fishes, hunts, any outdoor activity. You gotta have gear. You gotta have stuff to get you out to places you want to go and make the most fun out of whatever you're freaking doing. So what we're doing today, folks, we're gonna go over my 2025 open water season gear, rods, reels, kayak, tackle, you name it. It's pretty crazy. I get a lot of requests, comments, DMs. A lot of people want to know about what I'm rocking, what kind of rods I have, reels, all that good stuff. And I figured today would be a perfect opportunity. Early spring here in southeast Minnesota. The fishing's kind of meh. A lot of places are still frozen over. The rivers are high, murky. It's just that weird time of year where you kind of get things ready, you get excited, you get prepped. And that's what we're talking about today, man. Now, I gotta get this out of the way. Number one, first things first, I have no sponsors, no paid partnerships, nothing of the sort, except I am officially 2025, baby. We're on the New Canoe team, man. I have partnered up with New Canoe to just promote their brand, have a good time with their kayak. I mean, I'm on the kayaks every freaking gosh dang day during the open water season, so it only made sense. Figured I don't have any other partners, no other brands, no one else is helping this channel out, and New Canoe, they wanted to take a chance and have some fun with me, and I couldn't be more excited to share the New Canoe brand, man. I love New Canoe. It's truly the ultimate kayak brand, in my opinion, and we'll get into that here after a bit. But man, enough talking. Let's get right into it, dude. Rods, reels, kayak. Let's freaking go. Oh, that was awesome. That was so cool. There's 3 of them with them. Look at that. Okay, folks, we're gonna kick it off with rods and reels. Now, I have to preface this by saying this, what I show you guys right now, right here, this is not necessarily the one-all be-all. I have a ton of rods and reels kind of in my back storage unit that I sometimes pull out here and there for various reasons. If I have an issue with one of these rods or reels, I'll pull from the, I guess the storage unit, and I'll kind of replace it here and there throughout the season. But these rods and reels I'm gonna show you guys right now, this is my day-to-day, pretty much what you're going to see in 95% of my videos this upcoming season. We'll kick it off with the smallest of selections here. So spinning, we'll start with spinning, and you guys will notice pretty quickly too, by the way, that a lot of my rods are 1 or 2 different companies, really Daiwa and Phoenix. Phoenix and Daiwa are really in my opinion, some of the best rods for the money. I don't like to spend a ton of money on rods. I like to keep it at like 150, 140. Anything above that, we start to get a little dicey with the rods. All right, folks, number 1, we have probably the smallest rod reel combo on the block. I do have a BFS reel in the storage unit, but I don't really have a proper rod for it. So if I do get a rod for that, I'll truly have a BFS combo. But as of now, this is pretty much my finesse ultralight setup, and it's not even really ultralight. But we have a Phoenix Feather. This is a 6.9, it's a medium action. And paired with that, I have a Daiwa Fugo. This is the 1000D series. So a very, very light and small combo. This is perfect for trout, panfish, you know, even some light bass fishing. It's just really, really light, durable. I love the Frugo lineup. Now, let me say something too, folks, because you'll see another Daiwa Frugo here coming up. The Frugo, however you want to call it. This is an interesting reel because you get some of the features in this reel from a higher end Daiwa reel, but you still get some of that more cheapy plastic looking stuff that keeps it budget friendly, but it's relative. I think these reels, when I bought them, were about $100 to $110 out the door. So to me, that is fairly cheap for a really quality reel that you'll have for years to come. Super nice, soft, smooth drag, lightweight. I mean, it really is hard to beat. That's why I ended up actually buying 3 or 4 of these. I have a few more in my storage unit, but these are just absolutely epic reels. That rod it's light enough with that Phoenix Feather series. You feel every little bite, but just a nice crisp backbone. This right here, folks, this is gonna kick it off for a spinning combo. This is, again, really my smallest spinning combo that I have. I know it's nothing special, not an ultralight, not a BFS type of thing, but it's pretty small. Moving on to the next one. This is just a little bit size bigger. However, the rod is still the same. Phoenix Feather. This is I want to make sure, yep, another 6'9" medium. Same exact rod as the other one. That's how freaking light and sensitive these rods are, folks. That I can use a medium action for trout fishing and panfish, and also for bigger fish. But this rod here has another Daiwa Frugo. I don't know if you guys can see that okay. This, I think, is a 2500. Yep, this is the 2500 LT. Another awesome freaking reel. This combo here in particular has 8-pound test line. I believe it's mono. I think I spooled this one up with mono. And also a side note, because I just thought about it, that first combo, this one here for my trout and panfish, this is 4-pound test mono. So 4-pound test, and then you move up to 8-pound test. But another absolute freaking dynamite setup, man. The Phoenix Feather series rods are just unbelievable. All right, folks, moving up to one more size. This is about the same as that other combo I just showed you, but it has a little bit more beefy of an action. I can throw a little bit bigger baits. I can throw some big old bucktail jigs, things of that nature, and it handles it super, super well. So for the rod, we have a Daiwa Tatula 610. This is a medium action rod, but it's pretty beefy. It is a lot more beefy than that Feather series. It's got a nice heavy backbone. I mean, you can fight pretty much anything that swims with this rod here. We got that rod paired with, you guessed it, another Daiwa Frugo 2500 LT. But I will say, folks, this rod in particular, I don't use very often. It's just a little too heavy for my liking, unless, again, I'm going after really big fish or I'm using bigger baits. It's different. It's a perfect addition for that. Now we're gonna move on to the casting combos, which is my favorite part. I use these all the time. I'm a big fan of casting combos, and I'm a big fan of buying good casting combos. I've been that guy. I've started out from the bottom of the pit. I've bought the cheapest of cheapy can go. The stuff that you guys see in these videos, man, it's really just years of accumulation and hard work to be able to pay for this stuff to go out and enjoy fishing a little bit more than maybe I would have if I had another combo. So just over the years, kind of getting a feel for what I like, what I don't like, what I you know, I'm really good with, what I'm not really good with. It's a lot of trial and error, and this is kind of the dial down of what I use day to day. So just keep that in mind. I know some of these might seem expensive or totally ridiculous, and they probably are, but I love them. I use them a lot, and they work really well. I'm kind of at the mindset now as an older adult here that buy once, cry once, man. I mean, truly, some of this stuff, you can get away with getting a cheaper version of whatever it is, but especially with reels, casting reels in particular, man, I've had a lot of crappy reels over my lifetime. So these seem to work good. They handle everything I throw at them, so I can't complain. But we'll start off with the old Phoenix Maxim. This is what is this? A 610 medium heavy. This is a fast action. Why I love this rod, not because of the camo, I think it's kind of ugly, but I love this rod because it is freaking flimsy, as flimsy can be, in a good way. It's not just a big old flapping stick. It's got some backbone to it. But I love this rod because it's perfect for jigs, for heavier Ned rigs, you know, baits that are just a little too big for a spinning combo, this is the next step up. This rod will handle everything you want, even jerk baits. Because of that nice tip, you can kind of work a jerk bait a little bit better than if you had a stiffer rod. These rods aren't super expensive either. They're more on the budget-friendly side, and I've had this one for, I don't know, 3-4 years, and still works great. Now I have that paired with a Daiwa Zillion. This is a 7-to-1 gear ratio. This is a Zillion SVTW. I'll be honest with you guys. Now this is an interesting reel. I thought it would be game-changing, absolutely revolutionary, and I would say it's not. It's better than the regular Tatula SVTW, but it's not quite the oh my gosh factor, if that makes sense. It's definitely a nice reel. I do love it. It's very smooth. It's just, for the price, I don't know if I'm sold on it. But, oh well, it works. 12-pound test line. I think this is also mono. I pretty much run mono. That's really what I use for everything at this point. Easier to manage, easier to use, and it seems to work for all my needs. But very awesome combo. Again, it'll throw anything. Now, right now I have a little swim bait on here. Just kind of hopping that the other day on the bottom of a river. Moving on. All right, so this right here, folks, this rod is a Daiwa Tatula. I think it's called the Tatula XT, and it's 7.3 medium heavy. Now, here's a funny story about this rod. So I was shopping. This was, I think, early fall, last fall. I think September, October of 2024. And I was looking for more of a budget-friendly rod to throw jerk baits and some of these other baits that I don't really have a proper rod for them at the moment. And I thought, man, why not just get a cheaper one and just have some fun with it? Well, I'll tell you what. I bought this rod thinking that it would be okay, it would work just for what I needed, and it ended up becoming one of my favorite rods that I have. I have this combo with me every single place I go. This rod is absolutely magnificent. It's caught a big muskie for me. It's caught tons and tons of smallmouth, tons of walleye. It is just a perfect rod. It's got a nice fast action tip on there. So you can work a jerk bait, you can work a blade bait. This rod has really exceeded my expectations, and I honestly, you guys will see, I bought another one. I literally bought another one of these in a heavier action. But on this rod, I have a Daiwa Tatula TWS. This is 8-to-1 gear ratio, a little bit faster. So again, jerk baits, crank baits, things of that nature, where you got to kind of pick up that slack fast. This is a perfect reel for what I need it to do. Works great, and it's got those bigger, fatter handles on it too, which is a major plus. I've noticed the newer generation of Tatulas and other Daiwa reels, the grips are more like the Zillion. They're kind of a flatter, more skinny profile, and I gotta be honest, I don't like these. I don't like these compared to these. It's kind of a bummer that they're going away from those wider grips, but it is what it is. I love the wider grips. It's perfect for kind of keeping that leverage when you hook a big fish, or when you're kind of cranking down on a jerk bait or a crankbait. It works fantastic. And on here, I believe the line on this is 14-pound test, but a freaking awesome combo. This has become one of my staples, one of my more favorite combos I have with me anytime I go out. So here is another absolute classic. I've had this now for a few years, and when I tell you guys that I have beat the crap out of this, it is pathetic. I should like cleanse myself from all the sin of how much crap I put this through. Even if this kind of like, if I grew out of it or something and I was like, hey, maybe I'll sell it, I could never sell it, because I would never feel good giving this to someone and letting them run with it, because I just beat the crap out of it. It's dirty. I haven't cleaned it. It's seen better days, but it's still one of my absolute favorite combos of all time. It's another Daiwa Tatula rod. This is a 610. I believe this is also a medium heavy. Yep, medium heavy. And what's interesting about this being a 610 medium heavy, it doesn't quite have bend as like a Tatula XT that I just showed you guys. This is more of a straight shank type of rod. Doesn't have the best sensitivity, but I really love this rod because it's fantastic when it comes to casting around trees, or if things are really tight and you're just trying to get a cast up in there. This shorter rod with the action. You can throw anything on it, swim baits, chatter baits. I have a spoon on there from last year, which is pretty hilarious, but it'll cast freaking anything you want it to, and it's got a nice backbone. So it's a kind of a one-all be-all rod. That's how I've looked at it since I bought it. And paired with that rod is a Daiwa Tatula. I think it's an SVTWS. They don't make these anymore. They only sold a handful of them. Maybe I should get some flack for not keeping it on a shelf, keeping it clean, but it is a fantastic reel. Got a cool look to it. Got some silver. It's got carbon fiber grips. The handle's carbon fiber, and the grips are just kind of an interesting carbon fiber plastic. Not something you see very often. It is a 7-to-1 gear ratio, and I believe this is 14-pound test mono line. But all right, let's get to the bigger rods and reels here. We'll start off with the upper medium large combo I have that I use regularly. This is, you guys guessed it, another Daiwa. This is the Tatula XT. This is that second rod that I bought earlier, later last year, rather. And this is a 7.3 heavy action. So, you know, pretty big, pretty heavy duty rod. This rod, it's still got some nice bend in that end part there, that action. I can throw bigger, heavier swim baits like this. You know, really anything. I mean, I'll show you guys. Basically, what this rod and reel is good for is throwing bigger, heavier baits, something like that. Bigger than 3/8, bigger than, you know, that typical size that you would throw on a regular casting combo. Bigger glide baits, spinners, spoons, things of that nature. That is what this combo is perfect for. Now the reel on this is a Daiwa Tatula 300. So it's pretty much the biggest Tatula series reel you can get. It's got super oversized handles, which are really comfortable. It's just a beefy profile. I'm pretty sure I have 20-pound test mono on here right now. I put leaders on it. Like right now I have a steel leader on from last year on the end there, but 20-pound test line is pretty good for most things that I'm going after. This is a 7-to-1 gear ratio, so it's not the slowest, it's not the fastest. It's a nice even keel gear ratio for any and all baits, man. Big, small, glide baits, swim baits. If you gotta burn it, if you gotta just let it sit, it's kind of a good in-between reel. But all around, a good option for these bigger baits. You can never have enough fun throwing those bigger baits. And I've kind of gotten into throwing bigger baits over the last couple of years. This one absolutely is phenomenal when it comes to that. Okay, last but not least, this is pretty much the biggest day-to-day rod and reel combo that I use or will use. This is a Abu Garcia C3 6500. It's a true made in Sweden reel, so it's not like a crappy Chinese one, which is pretty freaking cool. I've had that reel for a long time. It was actually my father-in-law's reel. He passed away about 10 years ago. So after he passed away, I got a couple of his fishing things, including that reel, which, you know, I still have today, and it works fantastic. Got that paired with a 13 fishing Omen. This is a 7-1 medium heavy, but it's a fat rod. It's a medium heavy, but it does not feel like a medium heavy. I mean, this has almost no flex at all. Super stiff backbone. And the reason why I have it that way and why I like it is because it throws the biggest of baits I have. I can throw, you know, medium to small size musky lures on this, big spoons, you know, pretty much anything and everything that you're going to be throwing that's halfway big, or even like something like this. If I don't have that other combo, it'll handle these just fine. But this is not a rod and reel I use super often, but when I do, it comes in clutch, man. Nice package, and it will haul up a freaking house on the bottom of the lake, man. It is a beast of a freaking combo, and I love it, man. I freaking love it. Things change, stuff happens. I might get a new rod, maybe a new reel, or something happens to one of these, but this is just, as of now, the day-to-day stuff I'm going to be using, or you'll be seeing in my videos. I have a ton of stuff in storage again, but I mean, this could be a 5-hour freaking video, man. If we went through everything I have, it could be like a Mr. Beast challenge video, dude. It'd be like 24 hours in the workshop going through every nook and cranny. That is the rods and reels. Next up, let's talk about the kayak. That's a big fish. That's a big fish. Oh my gosh, that's a big fish. I felt that thump when it was on. Big walleye. Big walleye. Giant walleye, folks. Oh my gosh. Holy freaking cow. Just over 23 inches. Almost, yeah, 23 and a half inches. I'm on cloud 9. I don't even know what to say. The last thing I ever expected. Tiny, tiny river. Holds big fish, man. That is crazy. Just can't get over that. There she goes. She's out of here. Boom. Okay, folks, we are at the kayak section of the video, and let me just say, first and foremost, again, shout out New Canoe for supporting this channel and let me jump on board and enjoy the experiences of New Canoe and share it with you guys, and also get some support on the back end from a pretty freaking awesome company, dude. They are awesome guys, and I truly genuinely mean that. I don't talk about brands and partnerships and things of that nature very often because I don't do very many of them, I'll be honest with you. A lot of them, I just, you know, I'm not really that guy, and it's really hard for me to sell stuff that I don't really care about or I don't think are going to help you guys or benefit you guys, and I'm not really that guy. But I will say there are some exceptions, and New Canoe is a big exception. I'll read you guys some quick stats on the Unlimited. It's because it's just absolutely mind-blowing that a plastic freaking boat can hold this much weight and be stable. So it is 12 foot 6 inches long. It is 41 inches wide. The whole weight is 84 pounds. So the kayak weighs about 84 pounds, and you can put up to 2.5 horsepower on the back, which I've never done that. I've never put like a gas motor on it, but I've seen that people do, and they love it. And here's what's crazy. The max capacity for this thing is 650 pounds. 650 pounds for a freaking kayak. Unbelievable. And by the way, I believe it. There's videos out there on YouTube of people testing the theory, putting heavy stuff on their kayak, and it never really sinking, man. It just kind of flips it over or kind of turns and tips and whatever, but it doesn't freaking sink. So that is a big reason why I wanted to get the Unlimited, man. Just between the weight capacity, the overall width, the length, I could bring my dogs and I could just have a better experience on the freaking water. But let's kind of go down from bow to stern, and we'll talk about some of the things that I've done or did do or that I just, you know, use because I use it. Okay, first things first, starting out with the bow. Here we have a Motor Guide XI3 with the pinpoint GPS. This is a pretty cool system, but I will say I've had some problems with, I don't know if it's so much the trolley motor as much as it's maybe the electrical. Something has been up with this thing now for about I don't know, a year, and it's partly my fault for not getting it taken care of faster, but I just, you know, don't really care that much. A lot of my fishing is I'm able to paddle around and I don't really have to use this very often, but this will be fixed for the 2025 season, no doubt about it. This also comes with a cool little remote that you can put around your neck, and it basically gives you all your powers. It's got basically spot lock, it's got GPS, you know, up and down along the banks. You can hit a button and it'll just follow that GPS track. It's pretty freaking cool, pretty handy, and you know, it just makes this even more of a boat basically. Plugs in right here, got a nice little plug in that this will plug into. Pretty cool. Again, that'll all be fixed here at some point this season. This will be all kind of fixed up and good to go. Now moving a little bit further down into the actual kayak itself, so there's quite a bit of room right here that's open, and the reason why that's open is because of my dogs. My dogs can hop on, and they typically, it's really hard to bring both of them at the same time, but for sure I can bring one of them, and they just kind of like to hang up right in this general area. They'll lay here, and then they'll kind of put their head over the side, this side or that side, or they'll kind of snuggle in right here and enjoy the day. But this is nice and open. Again, I do that on purpose, so so they have room. And honestly, folks, I don't really like clutter. I'm not a big clutter guy, and this kayak allows you to not have clutter, which is awesome, which I freaking love. It does have a rail system all the way up and down the kayak on both sides, and right now I just have a little tie down with some clips, because I do clip this to my bibs when I'm wading the rivers. So that's up there right now, but again, you can mix and match this how you want. You got a pocket here and you got a pocket there. Now these pockets are pretty freaking cool, because when you're fishing day to day, you know, you have baits, you have different things you're doing, and you just want to put something somewhere. This is a perfect spot, for me at least, where I can put all my baits. So you can swim baits, blade baits, you name it, it's in here. On this side, it's more about the actual gear. Got some pliers, got some grips, just, you know, miscellaneous stuff on that side. If you wanted to do this, which I obviously haven't done and I likely won't do, these are auxiliary panels, both sides. So if you want to put like a battery gauge reader or a USB charger or something of that nature, you can absolutely install that on either side. Coming on down right where the seat is, which we'll get to that in a second, but this is just a simple foam pad I got. It's like a workout foam pad. It's not even, I mean, maybe an inch thick, maybe. And I put this here, not really because the actual NuCanoe flooring is uncomfortable, but it's kind of awkward when you're fishing day to day. So the way they have this set up, and I know it's dirty, please forgive me, man, it's a working kayak, but the way they have this set up, this kayak drains phenomenally. There are deep channels that go basically from the top of the kayak all the way down. There's another gear rail, but goes all the way down. You got a scupper right here, scupper right there, and you got 3 or 4 more in the back, which we'll get to in a second. So from a drainage perspective, it makes sense. It's phenomenal for that. You never have to worry about a bunch of standing water in your kayak. With that comes a little bit of an uncomfortable standing position. So you guys can see the seat's right here, which means you're standing right, basically right here, and those channels are just right smack dab where your feet are. So you have to make a compromise. You either get a nice standing platform and you don't have to worry about the cracks and whatnot, or you get perfect drainage. You never have to worry about water being built up in your kayak, which I've been there, not a good feeling. I hate when water pools up in my kayak. It's a terrible feeling. So I decided to kind of do 2 birds with 1 stone here. And I got this little mat, which serves as a nice standing platform, and it's a little bit more cushion, you know, a long day standing, but it also does not prevent that water from being able to channel through there and drain. So nothing fancy, just another way to do it. Got 2 more tie downs here on either side, just miscellaneous for whatever. If I ever want to tie something up or you know, what have you, I can do that. Moving to the seat here, this is just a simple, cheapy John boat style, not even John boat. This is like one of those Bass Raider pontoon style, like little bass boat seats. It's really flimsy, really cheapy, but I do like it. It is really comfortable. I can put my butt into the back. I can use the rest. It's got a really nice silhouette for my body. Works perfect. I do still have the original NuCanoe seat, and I do love that seat, but it's just, to me, it's just not as comfortable as one of these. Another really cool feature with the NuCanoe kayaks is their seats are 360-degree swivel seats. So this one is obviously doing it, but also the factory OEM, I guess, seat will also do that. So if you need to turn this way to get something, you gotta turn that way, this way, you wanna put your feet out, whatever, you can do it. Moving on down, we got a cup holder right here. I use this for binoculars in case I see some crazy stuff and I wanna see it better. More railings all the way down, and another really cool feature before I forget, with the seat, you can adjust it. There's 2 on each side, and you can adjust this seat as far back or as far forward as you want. So you could theoretically, and I've done this before, you can do tandem style. You can put this seat back a little bit more. If you want to bring your kid or your wife or your brother or whatever, you can put another seat right on the track system up here and slide it in right here, and they have plenty of room to fish up here. You have plenty of room in the back to do your thing, and it's a jolly Merry freaking Christmas. So pretty freaking cool. A good idea from NuCanoe, that design layout. Again, this boat is all about customizing. It's however you want it to be, whatever your preferences for fishing, this kayak will absolutely freaking do it. We got a weight. This is just a dumbbell 5-pound weight for those, you know, little lakes and ponds. If I want to post up, I don't have my trolling motor. That's kind of my anchor system, so that's pretty handy. There's a tie down for when I put it in the back of my truck. Good old freaking measuring board. You always have to have one of those. Otherwise, all your fish catches are just stories, and people love stories, but they won't ever believe you. Moving on down here, we got 2 factory rod holders, which I do not use and have never used before. They're pointless, and I to be honest with you, I wish they didn't exist. I wish NuCanoe would do something different with these, and I'm sure they will in the future. This right here is a Yak Attack mount for the GoPro. If you guys can see that okay. This is where I put my second POV GoPro, just to get those other shots from behind. behind me, and it looks pretty cool. When you stick it out there, you can kind of see a full picture. You can either make it go that way, this way. You can see anything in front of you when you're making those casts, when you're catching those big fish. It's pretty handy. We have a strap here for where the battery goes. I do have a 54 amp hour lithium battery that I put here when I have the trolling motor going. This is the plug-in for the battery to connect the power to the front. There is a dry hatch right there, which I have never used, I'll be honest with you. Pretty nice, but I don't have any reason to use it, so that just sits there. You got more railings back here. Got a nice big movable handle, which is really freaking handy. There's your drain plug, and on this kayak I use the wheels that go right into the back of the kayak. These are really nice for transport up and down from the ramp. Not super sophisticated, not super fancy. I should probably get a better style of wheels that go underneath the kayak, because what I don't want to do is stress out the back here too much and potentially crack it. I've never had issues with it. Nothing's ever happened, but you know, never know. Coming over here, you have a rod holder. This is a Yak Attack rod holder technically, but I use it for my nets, man. This is a perfect rod tube. I think they call it like the AR tube or something like that. It is a perfect solution, at least for me, for my net system. I don't like my net being on the floor or behind me. This is right here, so when I'm fishing, and I'm right there, all I have to do is turn my hand back and I got my net ready to rock and roll right there. I have a Yak Attack cup holder on this side, on one of the railings here. This is where my scissors, pliers, all the basics that I'm using all the freaking time on the water, that's where this stuff goes. Put that back in there. And folks, that is really it. There is not a lot to it. I do have sometimes a cheap Mink Coda trolling motor that I will put on the transom. There are days where I go out and I don't want that big old freaking trolling motor on the front, but I also don't want to paddle. So I have just a cheap, like, I think it's a 30-pound thrust. I'm not even sure where it is, but I think it's a 30-pound thrust trolling motor, and it works. It gets me from point A to point B, and I just put it on the transom, connect it to my battery, and it's freaking awesome. In terms of the paddle, I just have a basic factory new canoe paddle. With these kayaks being as wide as they are, you really have to worry about getting that leverage on either side of the boat when you're paddling. So you have to make sure you get a super long paddle, like a really long paddle. It'll make your life a lot better, man. If you have a short paddle on one of these kayaks, good luck. Good luck. You will get so annoyed from hitting the edge of that bad boy that you'll just probably jump in and start swimming.
Another one. That's another stud. Get out of there. Get out of there. Another stud. Oh my gosh. He's out. He's out. Oh my god. Back to back. Back to back. Oh. Come here. Come here. Come here. Dude. Oh. Back to freaking back. Oh. Dude.
But let's talk about tackle. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the kayak and tackle. It's all kind of the same thing. I'm using both. I'm here or there. And again, just like you've probably gathered so far from this video, it's pretty basic. I'm not gonna lie. It's very basic, actually. Here's what I have. It is a milk crate. So this is a milk crate that I use for, it goes in the back of the kayak in front of the battery, just sits right back behind the seat. And it is really nice because A, it fits well. I don't have to worry about moving a lot of stuff around in the kayak. It just sits right in there. But what's really nice about it is I also have a rod tube system, 3 rods. And I bought this separate, and I literally zip tied it, guys. I literally zip tied it to the milk crate. So I can put 3 rods in the back here, and that's typically how far I go. I don't have 4, 5, 6 rods at a time when I'm out fishing. It's 3 rods, that's usually my max. But on any given day, I'll usually put in some kind of a waterproof case for my phone, keys, things of that nature. Extra baits or bigger baits like pike stuff, I have a separate tackle box where all that goes into, and that will be in this crate deal throughout the day. You know, various plastics, other tackle I don't really use a lot, extra line just in case. And it's really nothing fancy, just something to keep my tackle, my food, my drinks. This is kind of the one-all be-all for that stuff. Works great, fits fantastic. I got no complaints. So I don't want to spend, you know, $100, $200 on, you know, a black box or something like that. They're cool. I think the Yak Attack systems are fantastic. I just can't muster the courage to buy something like that for this kayak. So, and that leads me to my main tackle bag. This is the tackle bag that I use, folks, whether I'm walking the banks and I don't have a kayak, or if I have the kayak, I still bring this with me because it's just all my stuff is in it. And it's really a wonderful source of carrying my tackle, but also being effective. So because we're super early in the season, I don't have a whole lot in here. I do have an extra tackle box. This has basically, you know, all the ins and outs of the day-to-day fisherman that I am and what I use typically. So you have some terminal tackle, you got jerk baits, you got some crankbaits, some jigs, you know, some, just because it is early season, we got some different kind of hair jigs in there, just a little bit of everything. Again, this kind of changes throughout the season, but for now, that's what we have. We've got a few Ziploc baggies with some extra gear. So this one is for swim baits. This has just various swim baits in it. This has the actual swim baits, like bigger stuff that, you know, I kind of like to keep in its original package until I use it. There's some Ned stuff, just basic stuff like that. But folks, that is really it. There is nothing special about this backpack. I do typically bring 2 rods with me if I'm walking the bank. So what I would do is I'll have 1 rod in my hands, and then there's like, it's technically for like a water bottle or something like that, but I can put a rod right there, and then I can actually strap it down to the backpack so it doesn't go flying. And I can carry an extra rod, I can bring all the gear I could ever want, and it works perfect for what I need to do.
Let's see if we get that little glide bait up in that shoreline there. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! This is a giant. Oh, that's a giant. First freaking cast, man. That is a monster. Oh goodness. Please, heavens, do not break me off. And I don't have my net either. So this is just going to be something else, I'll tell you what. Oh, dude, come on. Oh my gosh! That is why we come out here.
I knew that was gonna happen. That's all right. She is out of here. I was just trying to get a quick shot and she's gone, man, but that is okay. All right, folks, the last thing that we're gonna talk about is clothing, gear, miscellaneous like clothing items and boots and shoes and all that good stuff, and kind of what I go through as the season changes from early spring to summer to fall, and then basically repeat. Starting off, folks, with the most important piece of the entire puzzle, if you're out in a boat, kayak, canoe, whatever, is a life jacket. This is a Stearns life jacket. It has worked for me. Make sure you get it checked though. Make sure the cylinder still works okay. But this works for me, and you know, I'm not a big camo guy, I'll be honest with you, but my old man bought me this a couple years ago, and I've been using it ever since. So always make sure you have a life jacket. In terms of boots and shoes, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So early season, about where we are right now, or late fall, even sometimes in the winter time, these bad boys are the bee's freaking knees. So these right here, folks, are the NRS boundary boots, and what makes these really, really cool is they're almost like tennis shoes, the way they're shaped and designed, but they have a neoprene upper layer that goes all the way up basically to your calves. And so what makes these really cool is you still get the comfort of a shoe. It's not a big heavy duty boot that you have to kind of lug around. You get that smaller, thin profile, but you get the warmth, man. The warmth and the waterproofness. These are fully waterproof. They're adjustable in terms of laces. You can make them tight, you can make them loose. And then again, the best part is that neoprene. You can roll these over if you want. If you just don't want a whole bunch of extra baggage, you can kind of get crazy with how you want that to look. But fantastic option for that cold water or cold air temperature weather. If you don't want your feet to get super cold and wet, these are awesome. Once it starts to warm up though, folks, you do not want to be wearing those. Trust me, your feet will sweat like the dickens. What I like to do is I move from those into these. I'm literally going to take this off my foot here. Something like this, it does not have to be a Huck brand, but a type of basically waterproof rain boot style. is the bee's knees for any type of kayak or boat or anything like that. There's two reasons why. Number one relates to loading and unloading your kayak or your boat or your canoe. We've all been there where you step off your kayak when you get done with the day and you're like, can't wait to get up on the bank and get my truck or car or whatever. And you step off and you step right into the freaking water, or something happens. Let's say you have your kayak positioned and you're loading it up and it starts to kind of blow away a little bit. I've been there. I've had to go into the water about a foot or so to grab my boat and pull it close because it's starting to blow away. These will absolutely save you the headache of having wet, cold feet, man. And reason number two why I love these, when you are on a kayak or a boat or a canoe and you're catching fish, or you're letting fish go, or you're reeling something up, whatever the case might be, you get water on yourself a lot more than you would think. And you look down and you're like, man, I feel wet. Like, I just don't feel like I'm cold or whatever. And most of the time I've realized from like paddling or something similar is you get water all over yourself, and these do a really good job of keeping that water off your feet. These boots will do a wonderful job of keeping you dry. So with the shoes and the boots out of the way, we move to shirts and pants and shorts and hats, I guess. So if it's a little bit colder out, it's a hoodie, a baseball cap, and maybe a jacket. When it gets warmer, it just becomes a hoodie and a freaking ball cap and shorts or pants. And then when it becomes full on summer, it's basically either, a t-shirt or a sun shirt or even a hoodie. I wear these all year round, no shame. But I will say, when it is a little bit colder, like right now or, later on in the year, I like to wear some kind of a pant. It doesn't have to be a fancy dancy do pant system, but these are a good option. This is what I wear, what I have been wearing, and I freaking love them. So these pants, for example, these are made by a brand called Kings, and they make like outdoor hunting, fishing apparel, and they make some pretty nice quality stuff. This one right here is made out of polyester and spandex, and they have a really nice material to them. They're lightweight, they're airy, but they're like windproof. They're windproof and somewhat water resistant, waterproof. They got tons of pockets on the side. These are fantastic for open water, creek fishing, river fishing, if you're just kind of walking along the bank somewhere. And then folks, once it gets warm enough, I typically put the pants away and it becomes a shorts type of vibe. Basketball shorts are the name of the game. They're comfortable, they're stretchy. I can move around in the kayak, I can stand up, I can sit down. They work for my needs. They're just perfect for what I'm doing day in and day out, and they're comfortable, and that's really all that matters. That's all you can ask for. But folks, I hope you enjoyed this gear breakdown for my 2025 season. My gear, my tackle, my rods, reels, kayak, pretty much everything you guys are going to see in the upcoming season in my videos, you guys saw it right here in this video. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, anything about the kayak, the rods, the reels, anything, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your questions. I'm always here. I'm an open book, and I love chatting with you guys and girls, and I can't wait to get out there, man. The season is almost here for us. It's almost getting to be that time where I can take the kayak out, go on these small rivers, and have a dandy old freaking time. But in the meantime, we'll get everything ready, get all the gear prepped. I'm sure you guys are the same way, just itching to get out there, and it should be a good freaking year, man. I'm excited for this one. I hope you guys are as well. But as always, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate all of you, man. All the comments, the likes, the freaking subscriptions, the telling your friends about my videos, man. It all helps and it all makes it worth it. But this is Luke signing out. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace!